This has to be one of the most frustrating manga that I have ever read, at least in recent memory. It's even more frustrating than Rent a Girlfriend.
Stop lying!
Okay, that's a lie. Nothing's more frustrating than Rent a Girlfriend. Let's not get crazy now. But it was frustrating enough to make me want to make this video so I can vent my frustrations. Since this manga ended like 6 years ago, there's no one I can really talk to about this manga. So the next best thing I can do is make a video venting my frustrations. So we will be talking spoilers in this video, but I will say spoilers before we get into any major detail. So what's this manga even about, and why does it irritate me so much? The manga is called Kata Omou, or at least I hope I'm saying that right. We're introduced to Kiyose, Nagata, and Motoasa. They're all childhood friends. Nagata is always confessing to Kiyose. It started in elementary school, continued into middle school, and now into high school. He'll just say, "I love you" out of nowhere. He said it so much that she's kind of become numb to his confessions. The thing is, she never gives him an answer. She just avoids the subject by saying stuff like, "Oh, quit teasing me." But one particular day, after his regular confession, she's a lot more flustered than usual. Turns out another guy asked her out the day before, and she hasn't given him an answer yet. She says that this is the first time that anyone has confessed to her, so this is all new and weird to her. And here's where the frustration starts. How are you gonna say that in front of the guy who confesses to you on a regular basis, who you won't give a straight answer to? That's just cruel. He calls her out, but she blows him off by just saying this and that are different. That's gotta sting. He then tells her, "I love you," once again, but she just ignores his confession again by saying, yeah, I know.
Eat a bag of
We're not even halfway through the first chapter, and this girl is already getting on my nerves. Suddenly, the guy who confessed to her shows up. He said he couldn't wait till after school to hear her reply. He wants to go ahead and rip off the band-aid, which I can respect. As they're about to walk off so they can have some privacy, Nagata says it takes a lot of courage to confess, so make sure you give him a proper answer. So he's given her some proper advice and kind of calling her out at the same time for never giving him an answer. I mean, this guy couldn't even wait 24 hours. How do you think Nagata feels waiting over a decade? She does end up turning the guy down. Thank goodness, because that would have just been a slap to the face. She starts thinking about how Nagata is always joking about saying "I love you," but deep down she knows that he's not joking. If she truly thought he was joking, why not say stop confessing? It's not funny anymore. What guy would continuously confess and not mean it? Well, there's kind of a manga all about that, but we're not here to talk about that right now. The only reason why he continues with the confessions is because she never gives him an answer. She never says yes, let's go out, or no, let's stay friends. But to be fair, maybe he's never properly asked her out. Who knows? Later that day, he's finally fed up with her never giving him an answer. He calls her out and says, "You've never given me a proper answer," and repeats what he said earlier about how it takes courage to confess. So he confesses one last time, "Kiyose, I love you. Please go out with me." She responds with, "Okay?" She may have said yes, but he can tell that her heart isn't all the way in it. That she kinda just said okay because she didn't know what else to say. So this brings up my next frustration. Why is she confused about her feelings? She's had years to sort them out. To us, the audience, and to everyone else around her, it's obvious that she likes him. Even her parents are teasing her. Maybe she's bottled up her feelings for so long that now that her feelings are coming to the surface, they're confusing her? That's like the only explanation I can come up with. I mean, I get it, she's young and probably just immature when it comes to love, but it's still annoying. Anyway, seeing that she seems to be confused about her feelings towards him, he says that it's okay if she's not in love with him yet. He understands that it might be a little weird to go from friends to lovers. He tells her that the important thing is that he knows that he's in love with her and is completely fine with taking things slow to see where things go. If she develops romantic feelings, great. If not, at least they tried. Hearing him say that makes her want to try and understand her feelings towards him better and to put in more effort. At least we're making some progress. A few days pass and she starts to become more comfortable with her feelings towards him. He can kind of tell that she's finally starting to come around, so he asks "Hey, have you started falling for me, even just a little?" Her response is to run away, in the middle of their date, mind you. Who knew that this would be the last time she would see his real smile? Because spoilers, he dies. But let's back it up a bit. After she ran away from him, over the next week, he seemed a bit down, not his usual self. She thinks it's because she ran away from him, but that's not particularly the reason why. Motoasa, the other childhood friend, explains that the reason why Nagata is upset is because he told Nagata that he likes her.
You what?
How are you gonna wait until they start dating to say that? Then he tries to be Mr. Steal Your Girl by saying it's up to you to decide if you want to be with me or him. Where's the bro code at, and why isn't she immediately turning him down? She's never looked his way at all. This would have been the perfect opportunity to admit to herself and say out loud that no, I can't go out with you because I love Nagata. But what does she do instead? She's like, I'm in trouble. How do I decide? What do I do? What do you mean? Again, you never looked his way at all. Why is this a hard decision? This is the point where I started to hate her as a main character. Later that night, she contemplates whether or not to call Nagata, but ultimately she decides to wait until tomorrow. But the opportunity to talk never comes because Nagata dies in a tragic accident. Now that he's dead, now she realizes that she was in love with him. I hate characters like this. It's too late for that. You already had a decade to figure out your feelings. If she would have just called him that night, it may have stopped him from being in the wrong place at the wrong time. It's not a 100% guarantee that her telling him that she loves him would have prevented the accident from ever happening, but if he still would have died from the accident, at least he would have died knowing that she loves him. I'm not straight up blaming her for his death, that's not fair, but if she would have called him instead of playing around, maybe his death could have been prevented. Just frustrating. But here's where things start to get interesting. A spirit shows up and says that she can grant her a wish, so she wishes to see Nagata again. The next thing she knows, she's back at home in bed. She makes her way to school and she sees Nagata. He's alive, but it seems like she's been replaced with a new girl and neither one of her childhood friends seem to recognize her. What's going on? Well, the spirit explains that she doesn't have the power to undo an event that's already happened, so she can't bring people back to life. So she took her to a new world, dimension, timeline, whatever you want to call it, where Nagata is still alive. Now hold up, how do you have the power to take her to a completely different world, but don't have the power to undo an event like Nagata's death? And on top of that, why take her to a world where she's never met either one of her childhood friends and where Nagata already has another girl in his life? I know I said I hated her as a main character, but this is kind of cruel. The new girl's name is Manami. Again, she's the replacement for the main character, but things are a bit different in this world. In this world, she's the one that's always telling Nagata that she loves him, and now Nagata is the one that's avoiding the confession like Kiyose was. But the main difference is Nagata isn't ignorant towards his feelings for Manami. He loves her, he just doesn't want to mess anything up. He knows finally replying to her advances will change everything. Manami overhears Nagata admitting his feelings for her, so later she goes on the attack, and instead of just saying I love you, she asks if he'll be her boyfriend, and he says yes. So in this world, they're already dating. So I ask again, why would the spirit bring her to a world like this? So to clarify things, in this world, Kiyose has just moved into town, so she's never met her childhood friends, which is why they don't recognize her. But recently, Nagata has been getting a funny feeling like he's forgetting something important. So she's a new transfer student and ends up joining the art club again. I can't remember if I mentioned this or not, but in the original world, they were all part of the art club. She gets a chance to talk to Nagata alone, and she learns that he acts just like the Nagata from her world, the one that she fell in love with. So later on, she decides she's going to tell him how she feels, not knowing that he's already going out with Manami. So she might end up becoming Mr. Steal Your Man, which would suck, because Nagata has already said out loud that he loves Manami. And the thing is, she actually seems like a really sweet girl who doesn't deserve to have her heart ripped out because some other girl from another dimension showed up. Things are about to get messy. One day she ends up running into Nagata and Manami. She realizes that they're probably out on a date together and that Manami probably has the same feelings for Nagata that she does, but she doesn't care. She's going to convey her feelings no matter what. There's a part of me that wants to hate on her for this, but given the circumstances, I understand. She didn't particularly choose to be in this cruel situation where the guy that she loves is already in a relationship. So I can respect her for wanting to go for it, but she doesn't confess right then and there. Manami kinda goes off on Nagata for a good reason. Every time she turns around, he's getting chummy with Kiyose. Later that day, Kiyose collapses in her room. Here's where we get the next big twist. Kiyose is dying.
You have got to be kidding.
Now this is getting ridiculous. What kind of messed up monkey's paw wish is this? Why would the spirit do all this? This girl had the rest of her life ahead of her. Yeah, it's sad that the person that she loved died before she could say I love you, but I'm pretty sure she wouldn't have traded the rest of her life away just to say I love you to a different Nagata that's not hers. Can you hear the frustration in my voice? With this new lore drop being so sudden, I realized that the manga author was probably told that the manga was being canceled and to wrap it up. And that seems to be the case because there's there's only 4 chapters left. Another hint that the author was told to wrap it up is that out of nowhere, Nagata gets his memories of Kiyose from the other world.
Really?
What kind of nonsense is this? So the manga is ending. Will the author be able to stick the landing, or will it end in frustration? So there is a reason why the spirit did all this. Long story short, the spirit wants her body. Kiyose isn't going to straight up die and go to the other side. Her spirit is going to be forced out of her body, and then the spirit that granted her wish is going to take over her body. Kiyose's spirit isn't going to go to heaven or hell, it's just going to wander around aimlessly. Apparently, another spirit did the same thing to this spirit, and now this spirit is going to do the same thing to Kiyose. Again, this is just cruel, but Kiyose takes the news pretty well. She's like, well, what's done is done. So she ends up getting some alone time with Nagata. He tells her that he has all the memories from the previous world and says that he loves her. As soon as he said that, I was fed up with this manga, but then the manga surprises me. He goes on to say that the memories and the feelings he has for her aren't his, and that he loves Manami.
That's what I'm talking about.
Thank goodness, because Manami didn't do anything to deserve to have her love snatched away. And it would have left a bad taste in my mouth if he picked Kiyose over Manami. The manga was starting to win me back, but then immediately started to lose me again. Because instead of telling him that she loves him, which is the whole reason why she wanted to see him again in the first place, she starts to run away and then dies. At this point, I didn't know what to think. So like the spirit explained, Kiyose's spirit has been forced out of her body and the spirit has now taken over her body. The next thing Kiyose knows, she's back in her bed? Seems like Kiyose was teleported to another world where Nagata is still alive and that they're dating. Or maybe she was never teleported to another world and this all was just a dream. The manga ends with her finally saying the words I've been waiting for her to say since the beginning of the manga. Nagata, I love you. I am so happy that we got a happy ending, but with that said, it doesn't really make a lot of sense how we got to that happy ending, which is, say it with me now, frustrating. Leave it up to your own interpretation. Endings can be good, but most of the time they just feel like a cop-out. But I'm willing to give this manga a pass because it was a happy ending. So I just wanted to vent about this manga. I appreciate you just listening to me ramble on. If you liked this video, like the video. And if you like me, subscribe to me. And as always, this has been Broken, and I'll catch y'all next time.